There is a feature in Workstation 8 that I want to alert the developers out there, and that is you have a couple of integrated debuggers that you can install into Workstation 8. And so let's start off first of all explaining just exactly what is integrated debugging. Well, it's the ability to run and debug an application on a machine other than the host. Now, if you've ever worked with remote debugging, that's exactly what this is. Now, VMware has virtual debuggers for two specific development environments. The first one is Eclipse, and this is where you can do C and C++ development. The next one's a tool that a lot of people know about, Visual Studio. This is where you do Microsoft.NET development with C#, VBNet, ASP, all that stuff, ADO.NET. So all that stuff's going to fall into there. So what can you actually do with these things? Well, there's two modes that are just fantastic. First of all, you can do live debugging, and then something new called replay debugging. So let's dig into those just a little bit. With live debugging, this will let you debug an application in a virtual machine. So what's the big deal with that? Because you've always had remote debugging with Visual Studio, or at least you have in the last few versions of that. Well, with this, you're working with virtual machines instead of physical machines. So once you build you a virtual machine, say you've got your Windows 7 build, an XP build, a Server 2008 build, then you can just clone those machines and grab one of those clones and do some remote debugging on it. And this is much easier than building physical machines and then causing problems and so forth. Now, the one you want to really look at and spend some time playing with in Workstation 8 is replay debugging, and this is kind of freaky. This lets you record the execution of an application and then debug the recorded form of the application. Now, that's pretty neat because I can just keep replaying it, and debug basically on the recording. Now, there is some fine print. It's not really fine print. If you look at VMware's documentation on the debuggers, and they have a couple of PDF documents that you can download off their website. So if you're a developer, I would strongly encourage you to dig kind of deep into this and take a look at it. But the fine print, I'm calling it, they tell you straight up, this is experimental in this release. This feature is something they're just kind of throwing out there to see kind of how it's received, how it works for people, but this is something that you might want to take a look at. Now, what's the advantage of debugging on virtual machines? Well, it's simple. You can very easily put virtual machines out there and compare the behavior of your application on different operating systems. You can do it on different service packs. Service packs are always a problem, especially in the Windows world. I've got everything running smooth on my Windows 7 clients. They come out with a service pack. Suddenly weird things keep going. Microsoft Exchange has always been an issue on the server side. Outlook's an issue on the client side, and service packs can cause some bizarre things to happen, so you can test your apps on those. Different DLL combinations. It's not unusual to try to run an app. It runs perfect on your machine. You start to install it on end users, and there's a DLL conflict. There's a DLL something going on out there, and bizarre things start happening. And then, of course, the memory capacity on the end user's machine. Not everybody has 8 gigabytes of memory. So how is your application going to behave on a different OS version with a different service pack with different memory? So again, all of these type things, you can build the world that your application is actually going to have to live and function in, and all of the advantages of virtual machines apply here. The biggest advantage is you've got virtual machines out there. Just grab one, clone it, debug your app in it. If you've got multiple OS versions for what your end users are running all over the place, do that. If you're a developer working on your laptop, you don't really have end users, you can still download a copy of, well, not download, but you could install a copy of XP into a virtual machine. You could install, right now, for example, Windows 8 starting to slowly ooze out in the form of developer previews and so forth. So you could grab you a copy of Windows 8, which by the way will run in Workstation 8, and throw that up there, try your app on that, and be ahead of the curve there. So anyway, take a look at these integrated debuggers. Again, you got one for Eclipse, one for Visual Studio. Take a look at it, see what you think. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. If you're not a developer, don't worry about this. I probably should have told you that at the first of the video, but this could give you some really neat functionalities.